92%. That is how many professional fund managers lose to a simple index fund. Not some of the time, over any 20-year period, consistently, and yet they still charge you fees for losing. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why this happens, why it keeps happening year after year, and the specific number, the exact expense ratio that separates wealth building from wealth bleeding. This is FirstGen Finance. No jargon, no upsells, just the math. An index fund owns a piece of everything. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you own a fraction of 500 companies in a single purchase. Apple falls, Microsoft might rise, one sector crashes, another absorbs the shock. The fund mirrors the entire market. Nobody is picking stocks. Nobody is making predictions. An algorithm rebalances automatically. This sounds boring. That is the point. Boring builds wealth. The S&P 500 has returned an average of 10.7% per year since 1957. Through crashes, through recessions, through every crisis you can name. Still up, still compounding. So why do people still pay a human to try to beat this? Because the industry makes more money when you believe they can. Every year, S&P Global publishes something called the SPIVA scorecard. SPIVA stands for S&P Indices versus Active. It tracks every actively managed fund against its benchmark index. The 2023 report found 92.2% of large cap active funds underperformed the S&P 500 over 20 years. Not 52%, not 60%, 92.2%. And it gets worse the longer you look. Over 10 years, 85% underperform. Over 15 years, 90%. Over 20 years, 92%. Time destroys active management. Compounding rewards patience. The math is not complicated. Here's what this looks like in real money. $10,000 invested in the average active fund 20 years ago would be roughly $43,000 today. $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund over the same period, roughly $67,000, a $24,000 difference from one choice made once. Why does this keep happening? 3 reasons. All of them are about costs. Reason 1, fees. The average actively managed fund charges 1.2% per year in expense ratio. An S&P 500 index fund at Vanguard or Fidelity charges 0.03%. That difference, 1.17% per year, compounds against you for decades. On $100,000 over 30 years, that fee difference costs you $284,000. Not in bad performance, just in fees before the underperformance. Reason 2, trading costs. Active funds buy and sell constantly. Every trade has a cost. That cost is yours. Reason 3, tax drag. Frequent trading triggers, capital gains events. Index funds almost never trigger them. If this is useful, subscribe. One data-driven video every week, no courses, no affiliate links, just the math. Back to the proof. There is a trick the industry uses when they show you performance data. Survivorship bias. When a fund closes because it lost, it disappears from the comparison. Only winning funds stay in the record. So the industry shows you the funds that survived, not the ones that failed. SPIVA accounts for this. They track every fund, including the closed ones. That is why the number is 92% and not the 60% the industry wants to show you. Even the funds that beat the market one year rarely do it the next. SPIVA data shows less than 2% of funds consistently outperform over any 5-year rolling window. You cannot identify those 2% in advance. Nobody can. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest stock picker in history, has said it plainly. For most investors, a low-cost index fund will produce the best results. When the man who beat the market tells you not to try, listen. So what do you actually buy? 3 index funds dominate for cost and simplicity. VOO, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Expense ratio, 0.03%. FXAIX, Fidelity 500 Index Fund. Expense ratio, 0.015%. The lowest cost option available. IVV, iShares Core S&P 500 ETF. Expense ratio 0.03%. Any of these 3. For most people, building wealth from zero, that is the entire decision. The threshold rule for expense ratios. Below 0.10%, optimal. Buy it, hold it, do not touch it. Between 0.10% and 0.50%, acceptable if it is your only option inside a workplace pension or 401k. Above 0.50%, that fund is taking money from you to deliver worse results. Find an alternative. Here's the summary. 92% of fund managers lose to the index. The ones who win do not repeat it. Fees compound against you for decades. Survivorship bias hides the graveyard. The answer is not clever. The answer is a low-cost index fund, bought consistently and left alone. Most people will never do this because it is too boring to feel like investing. That is your advantage. Next week, we run the compound interest numbers that your school never showed you. How $200 a month becomes $1.1 million. The exact maths, no assumptions hidden. FirstGen Finance, building wealth from zero, one calculation at a time.